My name's Adam Kay. I'm a writer, comedian, former junior doctor, and author of This Is Going to Hurt, Secret Diaries of a Junior Doctor. 7th of February 2005, saw my first degloving injury. Okay, so a degloving injury is like when the skin and underlying tissues are torn from the bits below, like if a motorcyclist flies with her bike and their hands drag along the ground. Patient WM is 18 and was out celebrating with friends after receiving his A-level results, 3 Cs. After chucking out time, he found himself dancing on the roof of a bus shelter, then decided to get back to ground level using a neighbouring lamppost as a fireman's pole. He jumped onto the lamppost and slid down koala bear style. He had misjudged the texture of the lamppost, which provided more friction than he had allowed for. He therefore presented to A&E with severe grazing to both hands and a complete degloving of his penis. It brought to mind a remnant of spaghetti stuck to the bottom of the bowl by some tomato sauce. The patient was upset. This was made worse when he asked if the penis could be re-gloved. The consultant explained that the glove was spread evenly up 8 foot of lamppost in West London. The NHS is the most amazing institution. I think it's the best thing we've achieved as a country, and it's 70 this year. I do worry we're not going to see its 80th birthday, and it comes down to money. We need to have this conversation. Do we want the NHS to continue? And I hope we do, because that means putting our hands in our pockets a bit more. Or do we want it to be slowly eroded and become some sort of private, insurance-based system? When I left in 2010, I was this glitch in the matrix. No one left medicine. It's a job for life. Now I can't look on Facebook, can't look on social media without seeing friends of mine, brilliant doctors, who are... These are people who've missed their own 30th birthday parties for the job. People who've rescheduled any number of huge live events. The one girl I know who's leaving on the day of her own wedding had to come in and do a clinic in full hair and makeup just so she could make it all right. These people are leaving medicine. They're being chased out. People who love the job are moving to Canada and they're moving to Australia, or they're getting jobs in the city. I know someone who's in the middle of leaving to become a fireman. Imagine a world where being a fireman is a more relaxing job. 24th of October 2007. It's a quiet night on labour ward, so I go to my own call room, lie in bed and piss around on Facebook for a bit. Someone has linked to a bucket list quiz where you tick off which of these 100 things you've achieved in your life. Have you visited the Great Wall of China, ridden an ostrich, etc.? Turns out I've done very few things. I check my emails, then have a wank. Mid-wank, the crash bleep goes off, which means life or death emergency. Scrub trousers back on, I rush into a delivery room. The mother is pushing, and there's a very worrying CTG, which is baby's heart racing. Within a minute of walking in the room, I have delivered the baby by forceps extraction. Mother and baby both fine, good old me. I can now write my very own bucket list and tick off delivered a baby while still erect. After the book came out, I was invited to, speak in various theatres and bookshops and places, and afterwards, I'd sell and sign books, and loads of times, like dozens and dozens of times, people would say, "Would you mind signing a second copy for Jeremy Hunt?" And they would post it off. I was like, "Okay, that's quite funny," and so I did that. And then a few weeks later, I got a letter through via my publishers from Jeremy Hunt, basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing, "If you come and meet me, will people stop sending me this fucking book?" And so I did. I went to meet him and had lots I wanted to talk to him about. And he started off all very slick and political, and he had answers to everything I had to say. But I kept asking my questions because I wanted to meet the man for so long. And then eventually he did something that surprised me. He snapped. He got cross with me. He was like, "This feels like an interrogation. This is an interview. I thought I was inviting you in for a nice chat." I was like, "Well, I never agreed to a nice chat. I just agreed to come in and talk." And then it was like, like when you're in trouble with your other half and everything you say, you're just like, "Yep, no, yes, no." And so it was one of that. And then he sort of, informed a special advisor somehow to come and rescue him, press an emergency button or something. And the interview, or the chat ended. And there was bad feeling in the air, and no one likes that. So I apologised. I said, "I'm really sorry if I came across nicer on paper than I do in real life." And he said, "Oh no, I think you've been quite consistent." Monday, the 12th of February 2007. Prescribing a morning after pill in A&E. The patient says, I slept with 3 guys last night. Will 1 pill be enough? One weekend in 2010, I was working on labour ward and I was the most senior doctor on the labour ward and I had a bad day at work. And we all have bad days at work, but if you're a doctor, the bad days are very bad. And on labour ward, you always hope that you end up with a healthy mum and a healthy baby. That's the bare minimum. And this was one of these sad days that, through no one's fault, just terrible, bad circumstances, we ended up with neither a healthy mum nor a healthy baby. And it was like I told everyone at work that I'd sprained my ankle or something. They were like, oh no, that's awful. But you can still come back to work tomorrow morning, right? Because there's no slack in the system. There's no slack that means you can go home on time, let alone there's no slack for someone to say maybe you need a week or 2 off to get over this. And so I kept going, but I was a different doctor. I was in the same skin, but I was a different doctor. I wanted to do everything I could to prevent anything bad ever happening ever again. I was very cautious, even though I knew that I wouldn't have been able to prevent my own bad day at work from happening by being more cautious. And they say that obstetricians have a major disaster every 5 or 6 years, but I couldn't face that ever happening again to me. So I ended up leaving medicine. Wednesday, 25th of August 2010. An 85-year-old long-stay gynae cancer patient breaks our hearts on yesterday's ward round. She misses her late husband, her children have barely visited since she's been in hospital, and she can't even have her usual whiskey nightcap in here. I decided to play Boy Scout and prescribe whiskey 50 mils nightly on her drug charts, and I gave the house officer 20 quid to get a bottle from the supermarket to pass on to the nursing staff so they could fulfil the prescription on their drug round. This morning, the ward sister reports the patient declined her drink because, quote, Jack Daniels is fucking cat piss.